Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Brothers Take podcast. I'm Chris. I'm joined once again by my brothers Adam
Hello.
and Eric.
Hello.
We are back in the room to talk more gaming. Last week, well, it's this week as we record, but last week was Gamescom 2023, which apparently is the biggest gaming event in the world. Or so they kept saying. I didn't know that, but apparently it is. It's the biggest gaming event in the world. Is that because there's no E3?
Maybe.
Or was it bigger than E3? I don't know.
Is
have no idea.
Gamescom... I know, I get them a bit confused sometimes, but is Gamescom the one where the devs go to? Is that one?
Well, I know the public go too. Like I know of a couple of guys who actually bought tickets to go over.
But I never thought it was as
I have
big
no
as
idea.
E3 though.
Apparently, it's the
Back in the
biggest.
day.
They
Well,
literally advertised it as the biggest gaming.
Yeah, well, they could just be saying it because
Event in the
E3 is
world.
gone
It's the biggest games event
In the world
this week.
in August.
at the moment,
In
but
the world.
it is a pretty fucking huge event, and there was lots and lots and lots of games showcased throughout the week, and in particular at opening night live, which is the night that kicks off all of Gamescom 2023, and it was hosted this year by Geoff Kieghly, as it has been by the last couple of years. They partner up with him and ask him to host, and it was a pretty fucking cool show. So we're going to talk about our personal highlights from the show, or anything that we want to talk about, and maybe if there was any other extra information about those things that came out from Gamescom, if any of us want to shout out those things too. We're going to talk about all of that, and we'd love to hear from you guys too. All of your personal highlights that were shown from Gamescom 2023. What did you check out? And in particular, from opening night live, what was the game that stole the show for you? Or is there anything that you're super, super hyped for the rest of the year? So if you watch this YouTube, jump down in the comments at any point, share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this discussion, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring that notification bell for all future content. And to those of you who listen to us on audio platforms, you can also touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twixter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on Gamescom 2023. But without further ado, let's talk gaming. And what we will not have is anyone rush up to us and interrupt the show as we
Thankfully.
as we talk through Gamescom 2023. There'll be no why would you do it at the start? Why not wait till the end? You've got no tact.
Why?
It was
gotta
kind of
think
funny when it
Why do
happened
it?
during the Game Awards.
We see it happen at the end of the Game Awards. That kid paid his way in,
Yeah.
watched the whole show, and then did his thing.
But it was
These
it
guys
was kind
wasted their money.
That was kind of funny because it was just like, wait, what is this? Like, no one had a clue whether this was part of the show. or
No
not.
one knew what was
But
going
like
on.
when
Yeah.
that happened, like, yeah, I got a bit fucked off actually.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
totally, absolutely. I'm saying this totally as a jeer to the guys. They have no tact. What were they doing? They're fucking idiots. But anyway, moving on from that. Not to give them any fucking attention, really. What did
So
you think of the
Jeff
show?
handled it like a bloody pro, though.
Jeff is a pro.
Yeah.
Jeff is. I got a lot of
He's-
time for Jeff.
He
Keighley.
was also pissed off.
Oh
He was
yeah.
very.
Yeah, but he
But-
addressed it so, like, I'm not going to just ignore what just happened. Like,
Yeah,
but he
like, he
addressed
went,
it
"That's
straight to the
really,
point
you
and
know."
just got on with it.
And
Like
it didn't like dampen his mood. Like it did for that moment. He took it in. He dealt with it, and then he just went, "Okay, this is a great show, and we got something else to show you." And like, what a dude! What a fucking dude! Because a lot of people would probably really lose it in that moment. Like, go full fucking.
Yeah, might even walk up on the stage and slap you in the face.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. These things happen at prestigious award shows and stuff. But yeah,
They may have to
bring
change.
that up. But...
They may have to change the design of
Where
stages
there's a will.
on these shows.
I feel like the security. The security were pretty quick on it too,
Yeah,
right? Like
they
they were quick on it. But I feel like it's going to be even tighter at the Game Awards this year.
Yeah, I guess you don't kind of expect it.
No, well, it hasn't
No.
happened like
Ever.
until 2022.
Yeah, right. And now this one felt like a real cheap, like just want to do what that guy did.
Yeah.
But like, in a way, I definitely would have watched the show first.
Yeah. I feel like what they're going to
You know,
do.
do
I
it at
feel
the
like
end.
what would be a smart idea
Yeah.
is you give like the devs and the higher up peoples like not just a tag to say I can go up on the stage,
Right.
but you put them in the front row seats,
Yeah.
then have barriers for everyone else, for all the like commoner folks, so they
And then
can't get
guns.
Lots of guns.
And robots. No, I hear what you're saying though. Like, yeah, like maybe
well,
it
something.
should not
They need
be
something just to
for anyone who should not have any reason to get on stage. Maybe they should not be able to sit in the same row as Zack Snyder. Like, maybe, like, how are they even able to get to that position?
Well, Zack looked like he also just kind of wandered. He looked aimless. Now we are jumping a bit into the show. So during the show, they announced Zack Snyder coming on to announce some stuff, and he's there coming in with his fucking cowboy beige shirt or his tactical beige shirt, and like as if he's just wandering on, wondering what he's doing here. And he's like, "Whoa, that screen is bright," and I'm gonna take 5 minutes to get on the stage. It's like watching Christopher Judge do his acceptance speech, but without talking. And
well,
then,
do we want because that
do an interview
because that is the outlier, right? And I know it wasn't the first show, but it was quite early in the show anyway. Do you want to talk about that first and then go on to all the games? Like, do you want to just talk about Zack Snyder and Rebel Moon for a moment? Or do you just have anything to say about that? I don't know.
Oh, I have loads to say about the show. Like the whole
Never
show.
mind. Okay, sorry. Stop jumping. Okay, the show itself. No, I'm sorry. It's my fault. I'm fucking the show up here. The show itself, then. What did you think, Adam?
This is the first time that I felt with a I do think it was maybe just a tad long, but it certainly wasn't the longest. But it was the most consistent, and I felt like the most variety of games we've gotten in a long time. Like I really enjoyed the show, and I really enjoyed the amount of games that they've shown. Even if there's not games, like there's a ton of games here I'm never going to touch. Like, it's not for me. But I even enjoyed how they were represented. I was like, that's really, really cool. And I haven't felt like that with a game show in a long time. Probably since E3, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, which is a long time.
Yeah, that is a long time.
Yeah, there's just something about...
Remember the last E3.
They like, the shows post E3 have always been somewhat like they lacked human behind it or something. Whereas, although there was no one going up to actually demonstrate some of these, it almost felt like there was someone on stage playing some of the games. It had that feel to it. Like, we were getting a good sense of how the games actually feel. It's not just... There are some cinematic trailers, there's some pre-recorded material, but there was gameplay being showed as well. Yeah, I really dig the show. I thought it was great.
What did you think, Eric?
I think I messaged you during it, being like, "Jesus, this is really long." So
okay,
it is long.
I was a bit on the opposite. Like, first I was like, "Boom, right." We had fucktard at the start, but that's grand. He's gone. Let's get on with the show. I'm with you, Geoff Kieghly. Pump me up. And then we got all these different games. I was like, this is great. And then it just kind of kept going. And it kept going. And kind of a little bit like when the interviews were sort of happening, and there's just some people can't do interviews, as that's when it started to fall off. And then from there, I was just falling off more and more and more. And I think that's when I was like, fuck, this is going on for a while now. Yeah. All right. Yeah. You showing that? Yeah. Okay. Boy, when's this over?
Okay, fair.
Oh.
I would say I'm maybe somewhere in the middle, where I thought the show was paced really well, and I agree that I think there was a lot of variety. I knew it was going to be 2 hours long. I had looked that up before watching it.
Probably should have done that.
I knew it was going to be 2 hours long. They said that, but yeah, I thought there was like really a lot of good variety here. I suppose just for myself, where I felt the length, where maybe you wouldn't, is that, and this is not a fault of the show actually, it's just a me personal taste thing. Like, there was no big oh my god moment, that game, you know what I mean? But that's more like, for other people there probably was. But I liked the showings, and even like, we'll get to it later, but like Modern Warfare 3, right? I just had like a reminder of when they showed off Modern Warfare 2 on
yes.
stage back in the
That's
day.
the exact
like,
feeling I got
like
with that.
showing the actual mission, you know? Showing what's basically the opening of the game. I got real flashbacks to that period. And it actually had me thinking about Modern Warfare 2 and wanting to play Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, it brought me back in time to that E3 when it was.
Yeah, I was like, I know I know that fucking prison, and I think the mission is also named after. Was it something like 627 was the number they had in the title of the mission, which I think is Prisoner 627. Is that not Captain Price in Modern Warfare 2? Are you not looking for Prisoner 627 and then you find out that it's Price?
Possibly, but I thought that prison mission not only was in the original Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
I think that might also have been in the reimagining of Modern Warfare 2 is finding Price. Maybe I'm wrong.
I think Price is like in Modern Warfare 2 though. I think he's like in it. No? Is he not like from the beginning?
Oh, okay.
Because he's definitely in Modern Warfare 1, the reboot.
I haven't looked at any of those remakes, but this is definitely the first Call of Duty where it felt like it captured that feeling. There's like it's obviously kind of over the top. Yeah, it's not realistic, but there's a sense that like it could be real. Like there's
it's a bit kind of like Black Hawk Down,
is what I call it, and that's what like Modern Warfare 1 and 2 back on PS3, Xbox 360 days was a cinematic realism, and then Call of Duty just went off the fucking rails and became Fast and Furious. But now, this feels like a return to form, and it looked awesome. I don't know if I would get it necessarily. I might need to see more on it, but that showcase for it, like that, just brought me back in time.
I would reckon that if you were thinking of getting it, you'd probably have to play the other two first to kind of.
I don't know. I'd say you could probably catch up on it pretty quickly, or you could even like, if you just wanted to jump into this one, maybe you could like watch.
I think I'll do them in reverse order, Eric. Be like,
you can watch the cutscenes are probably on YouTube. Like, if you just wanted to get a sense of what did I miss before I jump in. I have heard that there's going to be a reinterpretation of the No Russian sequence, but like different, which I think is like interesting. You know, this idea of it being reinterpretation as opposed to remake. Is kind of cool to me. I kind of like that kind of thing.
Do you think that would be like all like equally or even more harrowing as if you had to go into like a petting zoo or something like that for the No Russian?
That would be really fucked up. But
well, the whole thing's fucked up anyway. No, it won't be that.
It was always fucked up. But Eric, any thoughts on Modern Warfare 3 since we've brought it up?
Since you brought it up, graphically looks pretty damn good. Again, it does have that nice element that it's not bombastic in its presentation, that there is that realism cinematic, especially the bit when you're like scaling down and you're shitting some of the guards and there's all the prisoners. But I thought it was really weird that they talked about Geoff Kieghly had the two people from Infinity Ward up there, and they were talking about how when you're tackling the story missions, you can now tackle it whatever way you want. That if you want to be stealthy, you can be stealthy. If you want to be loud, you can be loud. It's totally up to you. And it's like, and now we're going to showcase a game, and it's going to be from quite early in the game. Didn't specifically say the start of the game, it says early in the game. I was like, okay, fair enough. And then the mission they showed me, as cool as it was, and as much as it brought probably everyone back to the good old days. But I think it also brings it back because it plays out like every Call of Duty stealth game ever, which is that you start off stealthy and then you end loud. And that's how they all go. So it's really weird that they didn't actually showcase that you can play that two different ways.
I was kind of surprised that it didn't at one point go, now let's look at that from another perspective. And going guns blazing, you know what I mean? And just showed it too, because that they were saying that was the point of we're going to show you what we mean by that, and then I didn't think they showed what they meant by that, but I know what they mean by it. Like I suppose you don't have to show it, but it's just based on the statement they said that they were like, now let's show you what we mean by that. It's like you didn't. You showed us one. It looked like a very linear mission. Actually, it didn't look like you could not stealth that up to a certain point. So I don't. But then maybe they're being very careful because they don't want to show like much later. I don't know. But interesting that they're bringing Makarov back and that kind of thing. Like, it's kind of cool. And this is the first time. This is not something that would excite me, but I know it'll excite a lot of Call of Duty players. This is the first time zombies are coming to Modern Warfare. They obviously made a big deal of that, right? And I was thinking about it earlier today. I was like, right, the zombie mode. I got it when it was in, like, what was it, Call of Duty World at War or something like that. Mm-hmm. Where it was like Nazi zombies was basically the gag or the joke, right? But then it took on a life of its own and it became one of the selling points of games for people. And I was never that into it myself personally, but obviously other people are and they love it. I was thinking about it today. I was like, I mean, it's like if you know what, like Rockstar did Undead Nightmare in Red Dead Redemption. And it was just a one-off thing that was like, wouldn't it be just kind of cool if we did this Western zombies? But it'd be like as if now it's like every Rockstar game needs zombies. Like, it's kind of become its own cultural phenomenon. Like,
I think there is actually zombies in Red Dead 2.
Is there?
I think there's zombies and vampires and there's all sorts of weird things in Red Dead 2 if you go looking.
Oh.
In one of the cities, I think there's a serial killer at night that kills women and is a vampire.
Oh. Somebody clarify for that if you know us, but yeah. But anyway, so it looks like this particular Call of Duty game is ticking a lot of boxes for different players, is what I'm getting at, I guess. Like, if you're into zombies, great, that's there. If you're into the storyline, that seems to be there. If you're into the Modern Warfare style gameplay, that seems to be there. And I thought the cinematics looked well directed.
Yeah.
Like, really good. But anyway, moving on from that, I guess. One other thing before we jump into the rest of the show was that, Eric, you had mentioned Zack Snyder, right?
Okay.
Rebel Moon. It's a bit of an outlier. It was a bit of a strange, and they tied it in towards the end when they said that a certain studio is going to be working on a Rebel Moon game down the line. It's going to be a game for Netflix. So I have no idea what that means.
I think that just means if you're subscribed to Netflix, you have access to it.
But like, you play it on your TV then, right?
No, like
have you tried any of the Netflix games?
As opposed to any of the other games where you play with, like, not on the TV.
No, but what I mean is it's not on console, like.
It'll be interesting to see what they mean by that, yeah, because normally the Netflix games are mobile. So I don't know, is this a mobile game then?
Well, they said it was co-op. Now, maybe, of course, that could just be online mobile co-op.
Yeah.
Is it like one of those, like, team, those, like, fortress-based games or something? You build up a team.
I don't have much faith in it, to be honest.
No, not at all. But what did you think of Rebel Moon, which was showcased?
I think that looks unbelievable. Like, that trailer was absolutely stunning. And when I was watching it, I was like, I was into Terry, I was like, this guy has to do Warhammer. Like,
there's an element of that, right? There's definitely an element of that.
It does look a bit like that, yeah.
Like, when he was pitching originally, maybe he should have pitched to Warhammer rather than to Star Wars. I did watch an interview with him where he, with IGN, again during Gamescom, and they were asking, like, we all know that this originated as like a Star Wars idea. How did it get to where it is now? Yeah. And like he was saying, is when he pitched to Kathleen Kennedy, and he was like, maybe we could do it R-rated, And Kathleen Kennedy was like, not a hope. No, not doing an R-rated Star Wars. No way. So anyway, but supposedly then Deborah Snyder, the producer, and Zack's partner, she was actually delighted to get away from any IP. Because she felt that actually you're better off when you're free, and not, So anyway, that was like, sort of interesting.
With this, this is the closest film I felt from the visuals and just the overall style of it to 300. Like, it looks like 300. All his films post 300 didn't look anything like 300, really. Like, you can tell it's him.
Yeah.
But it didn't have that kind of, I guess, the hue or the overall look of it. And there seems to be, like, obviously there's the comparisons with Dune and Star Wars and all that kind of stuff. It's kind of difficult to do sci-fi these days and not have those comparisons. But to me, it was like, this is a Greek mythology in space.
Hmm?
Like, there's actual mythic creatures in this.
Yeah. Very, very
I
fantasy.
I do love that the alien creatures are mythical creatures. Like there's the Minotaur. I think in one of the shots they have like this Colosseum thing. It looks like there's a Minotaur, but he has like 4 arms, so it's still alienified it while having it to be the Minotaur. There is a griffin, not a
Yeah.
is it a griffin or
Yeah,
or
griffin.
like a griffin type creature, or
Peter Griffin.
Or whatever Pegasus is.
Yeah, like the Pegasus type thing, and then they have the like Arachne, the woman that turns into a spider. So they have that thing from like the Hercules show. I think was the like 90s Hercules show. I think was the first time they ever depicted her as that half woman, half spider thing.
Sure. Oh yeah. Wow. What a fucking blast from the past. Don't you hit me with that show? Do I remember that? I love that show. I'm afraid to ever watch it again.
That one is
would hate it now.
That is a.
I don't mean afraid because I'm afraid of spiders. I mean afraid of the like. I'd probably hate the quality now if I watched it now.
I think we tried to watch that. We got 2 episodes in and went, yeah, no, we can't do this.
Possibly. It was probably during our Arrow days.
Possibly.
You're ruining my childhood.
But yeah, no, I do love that there's fantasy mythology and then very clearly space Nazis.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. I think it looks cool. Yeah, but I also wasn't that pushed on it. Personally, I was like, I can wait. Like, I'm glad it's just going to be on Netflix.
Very surprised at the release date. So I was like, oh damn.
Yeah, like it'd be cool.
Guys ain't messing around.
It'd be cool to watch it like that time of year, and then it's cool to know the date for the second part, and to jump into that one. He originally wrote it as one film, and then he was like, maybe I should split this into 2, because the script is very long. But
I love the titles.
Yeah, they sound cool.
Titles are cool. And that's our Christmas movie then, yeah.
Yeah.
I would love it.
The family get together. But yeah, no, I'm looking forward to watching it. But I also, I wasn't like blown away by it, to be honest. I didn't feel like I'd seen any. I didn't feel like there was anything like new in it, if I put it that way. But maybe the movie will surprise.
I don't. I feel like there probably won't be anything new from. Everything's kind of been done, but I feel like there's going to be it's like, like why hasn't this done before? You know what I mean? Like, it's about time it's been done. In
this way, maybe? Is that what you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, because he was saying that he was inspired by the kind of Magnificent Seven and
also the comic book Heavy Metal. That was like his big inspiration.
Yeah. Because because obviously Magnificent Seven is based off of
the Seven Samurai.
Seven Samurai, yeah, which he said was his favorite film of all time. So it's like that's kind of where he's coming from, is this kind of ensemble cast thing.
I love the fact that Anthony Hopkins is a robot in this.
Yeah, I mean the actor's choice, I think, just is phenomenal.
What's your problem, Chris?
Maybe this is silly. He didn't sound like a robot. They didn't.
What are they supposed to sound like, Chris? So look at typecasting.
I think he sounded very, very human. I think I would have liked them to have done something with Anthony Hopkins' voice, maybe, or for him to do something with his voice. It just sounded like Anthony Hopkins, like.
Oh yeah, that's no, I do understand what you're coming from.
I wouldn't have been surprised if you said he's the wise elder wizard character or something. But when you tell me he's a robot and I hear the voice, I'm going, I don't see it.
I think what they're doing is that he is the wise old elder mystic guy.
Sure, as a robot.
So that's the new thing they're doing. So instead of just being
maybe
Obi-Wan
it's fucking awesome.
Or Gandalf or Dumbledore, now it's K2SO, but wise.
I think the one thing we'll probably definitely get in this is probably the best fight scenes in a space sci-fi in a long time.
Yeah, probably. I mean, yeah, I have no doubt that it's going to be a fucking fun watch. Like, when I say, like, I have never watched a Zack Snyder film and not enjoyed myself. So in that case, like, I'm like, yeah, when this is out, I'm going to watch it.
Yeah,
not, but what I'm saying is, it's not a trailer that I think I'm going to be rewatching for the trailer alone.
Oh, I
do
did
hope
immediately
to-
after the show.
Yeah, okay. Fair enough. Yeah, fair.
I showed that the trailer. I hope the music is good.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yeah.
I hope so too.
Yeah.
And I wonder if there will be contemporary music in it. It'd be interesting if there was, because he loves to do that. But it's like, but this is like a total different galaxy. So it's like, would it fit? Or I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. Does he do it?
He'll find some way to put in Bob Dylan or something in there.
Yeah, Rocket Man will play in there somewhere. But anyway, let us know what you think of Rebel Moon, guys. How excited are you guys for this movie? And yeah, poor Zack. He's not great at interviews, is he?
No, I felt that through
struggles
this.
a bit.
That would be the one thing I felt.
The interviews were
It
not
wasn't,
great.
yeah, because it wasn't just Zack. There was a few game devs too, and I felt maybe they weren't. There were certainly no rehearsals, it seems, right?
Right.
And it seemed as though Geoff, there was one of the devs, and it sounded like she was going to say something, and Geoff cut across her. But it wasn't like an ignorance. I think it was just that Geoff has things to, beats to hit, but the guests don't know that.
Yeah, I feel
that
like
happened with Zack a lot.
Yeah, I felt, yeah.
Geoff, I think, is on the ball. He kind of knows that he's going to get certain questions in, and that he's like, and I will cue you when to say, now here's the trailer. Like, I will cue that, so you don't. But I feel like everyone else forgot that and just went on and went, yeah, here's the thing. And he's like, whoa, hold on. Like, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions first.
Yeah.
Like, hold on the fucking second, will you? We're going to end with that.
But it happens so often throughout the show
that
I feel like that there definitely wasn't rehearsing, or they weren't told what was going to happen.
Yeah,
which is very
not,
weird because
not.
in interviews, they're usually supposed to be handed the questions.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
they probably were to some extent,
some
but
degree,
just
and
yeah, I also feel Geoff,
Well, you get
Geoff
nervous too, right?
Well, I think Geoff is able to, as we saw with the beginning of the show, right? He's able to spitball a little bit, so he maybe goes off. Like it wasn't the exact way it was going to be asked. It was like,
right, and that might off-put other people. But he's very good at trying to keep things natural, or using something that someone said as like, well, that's going to be my cue. I'm gonna speaking of that, it's like to try to twist it that way. He's an MC, man. I tell you, he's like a hype guy, literally. But okay, so let's jump into more of the games that were shown. I don't know if there's like. Yet we don't want to do every fucking game, do we? No.
No.
Like there was like 38 games shown.
holy shit, I do not remember all.
I could get the list, start naming out a few, and whenever we want to stop on one.
Well, I
just
took
let's
note of
stop
some
on
of the ones that
but-
really kind of stood out to me. Again, not because I'm excited for these games or I want to play it, but I really enjoyed the showcase of it, and it got me excited about video games again.
I am.
That's nice.
Hold on. So let's just stop
that's
for a
nice.
second. I am so happy to hear that. If nothing, that is beautiful. I am.
Yeah, and I think it's probably because
Thank you, Gamescom.
Yeah, but thanks Gamescom, because I think it's because like some of the games, right? So Starfield was one of the first games shown, and I think that could have been omitted. I don't think that needed to be here. It wasn't a very good. Like, why give us a cinema? Like, what the hell was that live action trailer? We've seen.
Yeah, I'm not into live action trailers. And we're so close to Starfield.
Yeah.
I thought it was kind of nice. Now, I personally didn't dig the way it was played, but I thought it was nice to have the composer play the theme on the piano. I thought that that was kind of a nice little just to remind you Starfield's coming out, and here's something from Starfield. But I didn't
was
think
definitely
it needed
we need to have this as part of the
have
conversation.
a presence, right?
Yeah,
and Todd
for
Howard
sure.
came out. An interesting set about Starfield from Phil Spencer, and everyone's trying to decipher what does he mean by that. Is that Phil Spencer said Starfield? He's been playing it. And he's like, Starfield is more Oblivion than it is Skyrim.
Okay,
Probably more
Make
choice.
of that what you will.
More
I don't
choices,
know.
Maybe
less on
that's-
rails.
Yeah, probably way
Possibly.
more customizable in your character. Like the amount of stats there was to Oblivion than Skyrim.
Maybe that's what he means. Honestly, no one knows except that one thing I do know is that there is a Oblivion style reference, I think, in Starfield where you
There-
can have a fan who follows you around,
Yeah.
and it'll like
I've seen
zoom
him.
up on his face, and he has the voice of like that reoccurring voice from Oblivion.
Yep.
That gamer poop or whatever used to make lots of mod videos out of that guy. So
I mean, he looks just like him, but that's
yeah.
only if you choose a particular background. I think for when
I
you're
think
creating
so.
a character when he
I think
shows
so.
up.
But they
maybe
showed that
that's the
during
thing.
the big long demonstration.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's every time someone wants to talk to you, it just zooms right in on their face. And it's like, I wasn't even looking at you. What's going on?
Really
You're like,
dodgy character creation
Yeah.
sliders.
Yeah. So I'm interested to jump into I'm looking forward to jumping into the game when it launches.
Yeah.
Make my own character, jump into the adventure. One thing I will say that Todd Howard kind of cleared up in this presentation before I move on to other games is because I was listening to like other people who were talking about like what they want their character and their adventure to be in Starfield, and I hadn't really paid much attention to what the story was going to be, and I decided I was like, right, I got to try and make my guy a like space Tomb Raider, like a Nathan Drake in space. That's going to be my guy. And when Todd Howard said what the story was, I was like, oh my god, I am going to be a space Tomb Raider.
That's
Great.
because
So-
he's actually. We didn't hear that, Chris. He's God Howard, and only you heard that because that's what you wanted.
What did you hear? Yeah, we heard what we were planning on doing.
Yeah, I
From his
heard that it was going to be Skyrim in space.
But yeah, so I'm excited to do that because I've heard other people say, you know, they want to do a space pirate adventure where they're going to just commandeer people's ships and try like smuggle in contraband and things like that. Other people want to do like, I just want to be a NASA explorer, and you know, so it's kind of cool that people are thinking now about what they plan to do with Starfield. You got any plans, Adam?
No, I'm
Gonna go with the flow.
Yeah, because I just feel
Yeah.
like what if it doesn't live up to any of those expectations, and you're really disappointed when you can't fulfill the character or idea that you had.
Well, he
So-
just told us that I can do my one. I don't know about everyone else.
I mean, you know, yeah.
Oh, actually, yeah, I
Thing
hear
is
what you're
with
saying.
Todd, though, like,
He'll promise you the moon.
yeah.
Literally
Like,
this time.
The previous few games have not really lived up to everything they've been saying. So, no, I'm just gonna go in and see what it offers me, and then and feel what I feel on the day. I think. Yeah.
Cool. So why don't we go through the rest of your list then, Adam, and then if there's anything you don't mention that me and Eric also want to bring up, then we'll
Sure.
bring them up too. So yes, you mentioned Starfield.
Yeah. So I found out the shows kind of pre this, it's all been the kind of the same stuff and the same trailers and the same this, that, and the other, or it's sequels to games that we know are either already good, or it's like, okay, yeah, whatever. But I just felt like this was the first kind of it's like new shit, right? And there's a couple of games in here where you're like, oh, it's about time we actually saw something of these games, because we saw something a while ago, but now we actually get a good showcase. So Crimson Desert looks like
Right. A lot of people are talking about this.
every game. It's like, what do you like? Sure, it has it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
It
is-
has
Were you excited by that?
like again, I don't know whether this is something I would pick up. I'll probably hold off to see how it's received, but it looks incredible. Like, it's got Assassin's Creed, Witcher, Red Dead, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, kind of like, it's got it all in there.
Yeah.
So with the amount that it has on offer, that to me is a very exciting game, because I think no matter what you're looking for, you'll find something.
Yeah. What do you think, Eric?
Because I remember the first time they ever showed this, it looked even incredible in itself, in everything you could do. And it was mainly just sort of like a slight, not really, I don't know if a story trailer is the right term, but it had a few little cinematics. You didn't really get to hear any dialogue, and it had a bit of combat. And it just looked incredible. The world looked beautiful. And then we saw this, and I was delighted, because I was thinking to myself recently, I was like, we fucking haven't really had anything on Crimson Desert. What's going on? Like, what's the story with that game? Is that another Stranded, just gone or something? What the fuck's going on there? And then, boom, Crimson Desert. There we had And then they just kept, like what Adam said, they kept giving. There's a point when you're picking up a cat and you're petting it, and you're petting the dog, and you go to sleep and you put the sword on your shoulders, you go to sleep, and like that's something that would happen in Red Dead 2 or something. And then there was like climbing up the walls like you do in Assassin's Creed, falling from great heights of floating islands like Tears of the Kingdom. So you're traversing with the horses through like the towns or fighting different like people and stuff like The Witcher. The combat actually looks really good. I was getting to a point where I was like, this looks like what I need right now. Kind of like when Ghost of Tsushima came out. That's
you guys.
So I'm really nervous about this game because it looks far too good to be true.
That's why I'm gonna hold off.
Yeah.
Because it looks
that
shit hot. Yeah.
If I'm honest, that was my thought watching it. I was like, this looks incredible. Maybe too incredible.
Yeah.
Now, I do think like it looks like a technical marvel. I think the studio have done a fucking wonderful job if this really is what the game is going to be. I think this game is going to do really fucking well. It's turned a lot of heads, that presentation. And we're going to see a lot of this game next year, I'd say. Like, this game is going to pop up at fucking various showcases and presentations and things.
Is it the same company? It is the same company, the Black Desert, isn't it? The MMO one.
It is, yeah.
So at least they've had a lot of practice with just developing all these different things, because obviously that's an MMO that got lots of expansions, so maybe, hopefully it works.
I would say it will be close to the experience. But as at the same time, as like amazing as it is, and as many boxes as it ticks, I also get a bit of a feeling of it's lacking its own identity. But that could be just me. I get a feeling of like it's like, what is shit hot in every other game? Let's do that. But I don't get a sense of its own vision. Because there is a lot of like Breath of the Wild. There is a lot of like Witcher vibes, Assassin's Creed vibes. And it nearly looks like a mission. And hey, why is that a bad thing? If everyone's like, wait, if a game has all the best bits of all the fucking games we love, what's wrong with that? You're right, correct. But I just, for me to get like really excited about it, I just didn't see this game is doing this thing, and that's what makes this game special.
I think at this point, the next thing we need to see now is a story trailer.
No,
Adam hates story trailers.
That's
how
why
you turn
I love
him off.
Trailer, right?
Yeah, it's all gameplay.
It's just like it's showing
which is great.
me what I can do, and I'm like, and then I can go and just experience. What the game
right. I got the perfect blend.
Yeah,
it's a story mission in game.
Yeah, there we go.
No, we have an idea.
Now you're talking.
Like
now
the
you're
Judy
talking.
Showcase, right?
Yeah. So it's like we have an idea of what it's like to explore a certain farm area. Maybe to take on a mission to kill one of those weird creatures that lives out in the grains. So then we know what it's like to talk to people. They give us a bit of a story, so we know what the interaction is like, and then they go off, and that way we're seeing.
Because that's what sold Witcher 3, wasn't it? Like the hunting of that kind of griffin presentation, all them years ago, right? And for a long time, yes, and I think that's why this showcase really stood out to me, right? Is for a long time it has been that it's been not those mission based. I think that would be fantastic. It's always been like
story trailers, CG trailers,
and
things
it's
like
just
that.
like, where's the game? Where's the game? Like, what is this game? Like, it's like, there's going to be a story. Sure, I would nearly suspect that. Like, it'd be weird if there wasn't.
Yeah.
So I like
Death Stranding had like 5 or 6 story trailers before there was ever gameplay.
Yeah, and I you know what? It's probably the whole Death Stranding, I suppose, is like he can nearly get away with it, but it's not as if like. We've been burned before. Like the Phantom Pain was an example of something where it's like it almost showed you too much story stuff that we thought that there was going to be like tons of that, and it turned out to be a completely different experience.
It was pretty bare bones on that.
It was very late before they end up showing us like some kind of gameplay, and turns out the bit they showed with the gameplay is absolutely everything you can do in the game is done in that one little section.
Right. I think you are bang on, by the way. I think like the next interesting thing you could do in showing Crimson Desert is a story mission.
Yeah.
And I think that could be the thing that makes me go, oh, fuck yeah. But I'm not denying that this was a really great showcase and that this is obviously all I've heard people talking about for the most part is Crimson Desert. Like that really caught a lot of people's attention. So that's a game definitely worth keeping an eye out for. But yeah, what's the next game on the list, Adam?
This I have no interest in it, but the art direction really stood out to me, which was the Lords of Fallen. I just thought from the visuals and the character design and creature design, like that was just absolutely stunning. And again, this is like, I have no interest in Lords of Fallen, no interest in that style of game, but even its presentation, I just thought was fantastic.
Yeah, so and it's very much, I mean, okay, you know what you're getting. It's a Soulsborne style game, right?
Yeah.
And that's obviously a hugely popular genre nowadays, whatever that genre is called. We call them Soulsborne likes or whatever, but there was an old game called Lords of the Fallen, right? Is this a reboot or
the Lords of the Fallen?
Okay,
this was the first one. Then this is Lords of the Fallen. So I played the first one actually. I played and cleared it. I don't know how I did it, but I did it. There's actually multiple endings to the game. Yeah.
How you surprise me sometimes. You just we'll mention a game and you'll be like, yeah, I played and cleared that, and I'm like,
yeah, I actually
never even knew.
Desert.
Never even knew you heard of it, but there you go.
No, I had it one time. I tried playing it in like the early days of Soulsborne. Couldn't get into it because I didn't understand how that shit worked. So I gave up on it and thought this is also stupid. Then after playing like Bloodborne, Dark Souls 3, Demon's Souls and stuff, I was like, sure. And Sekiro, I was like, I'll give the Lords of the Fallen a go. Cleared it. I was like, this was actually a pretty good game. Actually, pretty not a bad story. It was kind of a very interesting story.
So would you be interested in this game then?
A little bit, because I think it is a sequel.
It must be, yeah.
It's gotta be, right? It's gotta be.
It's a good few years afterwards, and so there's sort of like
maybe it's a loose sequel. Like you benefit more from playing the first one, but it's okay if you haven't.
I thought it looked stunning.
The art
design's pretty cool.
But then I always say that as well about the I thought the artwork to Elden Ring looked amazing. Elden Ring is one of those games that
I think this looks better. Art style and character design and creature design. I think this looks better than any of the From Software stuff.
Oh sure, yeah. But all I'm saying is that like the only thing that ever puts me off playing those games is that I don't enjoy the gameplay. But I always think like they have really fucking cool designs and art style, and this is no different. Like Lords of the Fallen does look stunning.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was another. I don't know if this was on your list, but just to throw it in here, there was another. What's clearly going to be a Soulsborne style game that I so wish wasn't, but it's a purely selfish thing that I wish it wasn't because I fucking love the aesthetics of Black Myth Wukong.
Oh yeah, no, I'm getting that. That's 100%.
Oh my god! Let's jump on that for a second, right? From the first time we saw it look good, and it still looks fucking great.
Yeah.
And to be honest, I'm going to like keep an eye out for like reviews when that comes out. And if it's not too bad, I think I'll get it. I just think it looks
I think I'll probably get that day one because I'm really interested in that mythology and the art style. I'm just ready to be fully involved in that. The gameplay wise, I kind of feel like it, it's going to be Soulsborne-y. Yeah, but I do feel like it's probably going to be closer to God of War.
Possibly, but also I think of like Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order, where I'm like, they are games that have clear Soulsborne kind of game design and gimmicks and stuff, but there's also an understanding that there's a larger fan base that I want to reach out to, and so there are difficulty levels you can play on to make that experience a little bit more playable. And I've played and enjoyed both those games, even if I don't love that style of game. So I do think that there could be a way into this game for me, and I really hope there is, because I am loving what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'd say this is more a lighter version of a Soulsborne game, because there's some Soulsborne games which are just like, oh, you're taking the piss here. This is actually just like stupid hard. I think that's one thing that a lot of people like about From Software games is that they do find this happy balance with a lot of their games.
Mm-hmm.
That's like for the start of the game might be a bit difficult, but you get used to it and you get into it. And it's only maybe about an hour or 2 hours in when it really starts to get hard. Some other games are just like from the get go, this is ridiculously hard. And then I think like the Lords of the Fallen is pretty well balanced as well, from what I can remember. And I imagine Wukong would be a bit like Jedi Survivor and Fallen Order, where it's lighter, where it's a little easier to handle.
Man, I hope so, because the character designs are fucking amazing.
Yeah.
All the bosses look great. Your key character looks great. Just the general aesthetics.
It's an interesting way of doing the Monkey King story.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
And it's
I'm
that's
very
definitely coming out next year. At this point, it has to be.
Yeah. Like I'm more
So-
excited for that stuff like than some of the IPs that we already know are coming out.
Sure,
You know,
yeah.
and it's maybe because of overexposure or something like that. Like this is something new and fresh, and even the way it's handling. Like we can make comparisons to other games, but the way it's handling it feels like its own thing.
You probably never saw Adam. Oh, what was the fucking name of the game? There was in the PlayStation showcase, right? The last one that you were away at the time.
I think I remember this.
There was a game shown, and like whatever, Spider-Man 2, cool. Metal Gear Solid Delta, cool. This fucking game made both me and Eric like our jaws drop. The gameplay, and it could be that that's only in that presentation. Maybe the game won't live up to it. Eric, what was that called?
I cannot remember.
But they showed
forgot about
actual
it.
gameplay that was
Well-
fucking amazing.
Yeah, so I've seen recently within this year, I think, from starting with Wukong. So whenever Wukong first got released, from then up to now, I've seen a lot of games now made by Korean developers like Crimson Desert. Wukong is made by Chinese. You had, what was that, Soul Split or Solstice or something? Remember there was...
I think that was like Korean, right?
That was Korean. It was like this advanced sort of world, but you were still like gliding through this advanced weird...
There was kind of a Final Fantasy aesthetic to it, mixed with like Devil May Cry.
So like, there's been all these different games. I think I sent another one into his earlier in the week, where it was like this woman in China was using all like these magic abilities, and they all just look fucking incredible. They all like the art design and the editing of the videos in itself, and just showing us the gameplay. That this looks like all of them look like genuinely polished games. I mean, Wukong, when we first saw that, it looked like a finished game.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it looked amazing. And it was first shown as an actual, here's a level.
Yeah. Here's the gameplay. So I think they're all those companies in the East, keep doing what you're doing, because you're doing an awesome job, because you're just showing us the gameplay, and we're like, that's class. Except for Hideo Kojima. You can keep showing us 5 like trailers of story and we won't understand, and that's all good too.
I'm trying to find that. Was it called? No, that wasn't it. Well, it's not Sword of the Sea, is it?
No, I think that's the other thing I sent you.
Okay. I'm really sorry. When I find it later, Adam, I will send it to you. It was just watching the gameplay was unbelievable. The sword play in the gameplay was unbelievable. It looked like a hard game as well, but it was just fucking stunning. And God, it's bugging me that I can't remember the name of it. But anyway, let's move on to the next game on your list.
So those were some of the kind of like bigger showcasing gameplay and all that kind of stuff. Then there was a few, which is why I like the show as well, is like there's like, it's not all just that. There was a couple of more story driven things. So Quantic Dream show a game that it really piqued my interest, because it basically seemed like Firewatch underwater.
Yes.
All right. Yeah.
That looked
Yeah,
very
and like
interesting.
there's obviously not much to it, like from a gameplay perspective, but from a storytelling, it kind of did seem like Firewatch a little bit, the way it's a voice on your comms nearly. So yeah, I'll definitely keep an eye out on that one. That I think that looked interesting. I think it's Under the
Waves, I think.
Under
But
Waves.
like Firewatch, I remember playing Firewatch, and that was gripping. For something
it's
that
so
was
good.
really,
Yeah.
really simple. It was just the voice acting and the story progressing was just like
And
so
and
fucking gripping.
oddly like kept you on edge, and you're like nothing's
Yeah.
happening.
No, it was so good. Just like the normal paranoia that people end up getting through isolation. And Under the Waves looks like it's going to be a very emotional story.
And
Emotional
this is
journey.
different. Like, I mean, it didn't look like turn-based or choice-based dialogue or anything like that. So this is quite a different offering from Quantic Dream as well. So yeah, interested in that.
Yeah.
Troy Baker, Roger Clark, they came out on stage, and if there's anyone who can match Jeff's ability to just riff off, it's Troy. Like, he had such great showmanship coming on.
Yeah, and
stage.
he actually hosted. I watched it the other night just because I had a bit of time, and I was like, I saw that the future game show for Gamescom was on, so I said I'll try that on to see if there are any exciting games from that. Like, nothing really stood out to me personally, but Troy Baker and I can't remember her name. I didn't recognize her before, but they were the two hosts, and just all throughout, like, the riffing off of them was the entertaining part, of it for me. But yeah, he's professional, isn't he?
He knows
he knows what he's at. Yeah, he does.
But that game also, I'm very intrigued with, which is the fourth Solis.
That's out.
It's out?
Yeah, they announced it there at a shirt. They said it's out today.
Oh, right. Okay.
So that's it. So yeah, you jump into it if you want.
Go play it.
Yeah, I will
Tell us
jump
about-
into that, I guess.
Check it out.
Yeah, just again, from the performance perspective, I think that it's been a while, I think, since we had something on a smaller level that's kind of focused on the performance, like Firewatch and games like that. Everything's always been about the big, massive mocap fucking...
Yeah.
that are too
It's interesting
expensive.
that because it's an indie game.
Yeah.
So it's interesting that they were able to get kind of voice actors of that caliber involved in the project.
Well, I'd imagine they're probably a little bit tired of having to do the big giant mocap open world fucking multiple
friends.
choice.
Yeah,
Or
like
their
maybe
friends.
they just like the sound of the project. Maybe
Yeah.
No, but I'm
Like,
saying that sometimes
let's do both.
I mean, sometimes it's nice for them that they can kind of go, okay, this is what the story is. It's about the performance. It's about the story. It's
Yeah. I get
like
you.
you know what I mean? Like,
Something a bit smaller. Like
Willem Dafoe doing the Lighthouse.
Yeah. Like let's just do something really focused and yeah. I get you. Anything else, Adam, on your list?
Yeah, the final one that really stood out to me, which is the first time it has ever stood out to me in all of its demonstrations and trailers and stuff, and I was like, yeah, this is how you show this game. And that is Mortal Kombat 1.
Mortal Kombat!
To me, this is the best presentation of that game yet.
So you clearly,
the other ones.
So you haven't watched all of the other Mortal Kombat 1 trailers, bar the first one when it just announced the game. Have you?
Yeah.
Because it's been more of the same. It's just characters beating the fuck out of each other and doing fatalities.
Yeah, but there's something about the, it's like the pacing of it, the choice of.
Now, don't get me wrong.
I just think the
when I
presentation
say
of it
that,
was
like
better.
I enjoyed the trailer too.
Yeah.
But I was also like, yeah, this is right in tune with everything else I've seen. Really.
I felt nothing while watching the other ones.
Well, you know what the hype moment was? Shujinko, baby.
Yeah.
Shujinko is in Mortal Kombat 1. Motherfucker! That's so fucking sick. I don't care that it's only as a cameo character, like, because all the cameo characters play a role in the story at some point. So Shujinko is in Mortal Kombat fucking 1.
Oh, is that who that was?
That was fucking Shujinko, Eric.
I thought that was old man Shang Tsung.
Right? That's what I thought too, but then I realized it can't be. They've shown off what Shang Tsung looks like. Shang Tsung is a young man in this game. So it can't be old man Shang Tsung.
But they also have like the old costumes for like
I know, right? I know. So I was like, yeah, maybe Eric's right. Maybe it's Shang Tsung. So then what you do, you check a tweet by Ed Boon. Check out our latest trailer revealing General Shao, Sindel, Motaro, and Shujinko in MK1. It's fucking Shujinko.
Nice.
Oh,
All right,
God.
so we're all pre-ordering, yeah.
Well, I still want to see how it all fares out. I've always said I've
Well, they have the
anticipation
first
levels for
17
this
minutes
game.
of
Right?
it, so
Yeah, I've checked that out.
any good?
It's okay. It's okay.
I've seen
It's well
the opening
directed.
cinematic. So I've seen from essentially the opening up to the first fight.
Okay, yeah,
Of it.
yeah.
I've
It's
seen
I
it.
take it like it's well directed. Like the cutscenes are very impressive. I've made 2 calls, right? I'm probably fucking wrong on both of them. I think Hanzo Hasashi is going to be in MK1 in some new role, a new format. He's not Scorpion. They've already announced that. Kuai Liang is Scorpion in this game. So Hanzo Hasashi is going to have a different role. There's no way they're just leaving him out. I don't know what role he plays, but Hanzo Hasashi, they've kept him secret, I think. Whatever he's doing in this game, there's no way there's a Mortal Kombat game and Hanzo Hasashi is not in it. So he's got some other role in here somewhere. I don't know what he's doing. And I think I still think Onaga. I think Onaga is gonna be the boss. I think they're keeping it a secret. That or it ends on like a, they ended MK9 that way, which is like an end credit scene was like, oh, we're queuing up Shinnok next. So Onaga maybe will show up that way either, but Onaga is going to be in this game. I think so.
I'm very surprised with Liu Kang that because it's announced in this trailer that General Shao is in it. He's not a Khan in this game, so he just serves as the general for Sindel, which kind of looks like then Edania is the conquering force instead of Outworld.
Oh, maybe. I thought she was Empress of Outworld, no?
Well, that's like also saying that Julius Caesar is the emperor of Germany.
Gotcha. Okay.
That's kind of the vibe I got of it.
Do you get like Edenia bet Outworld?
Yes.
And they own Outworld?
Yeah. That's the vibe I'm getting.
That's fucking sick. That could be true.
The opposite. But I'm very surprised that Liu Kang is like, oh yes, Shao Kahn, like General Shao Kahn, my arch enemy, the guy that almost destroyed Earth. I'll let you survive at this timeline and not just snap you out of existence, because fuck that shit.
Yeah, it's interesting that way. I don't know if it's a thing of like he being a good person is not abusing his power, where he's like, this Shao is not my Shao, and I have to give him a chance. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe learn from Kronika or something, because Kronika kept kind of just doing that and kind of going, no, it's wrong, start again.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, look, I'm always excited to see where they go with the story. I think it's really cool that they're doing reinterpretations of each character. And oh my god, when Sindel split the fucking...
So, this is by far...
That was so violent.
Yes. This is... And I think when that happened, I was like, there we go. There we go.
Did that make you go, oh?
That's the gore I'm talking about, because even the sound of it slapping onto the ground, it was like...
Yeah.
Like... Yeah, I just think this was the better, as well with the cutting between the story to gameplay. I thought the pacing of that was much better than previous showcases. I just think this overall as a presentation, I'm like, okay, this sells the game to me. Yeah.
It's cool. It's exciting. Getting MK1. I thought it was interesting and made a lot of sense during the showcase to show Tekken 8 again. I'm not that into it, but it's interesting that they have... Because that game is clearly like ready, right? Yeah. Like it's pretty ready. They've been showing it for a long time. They showed a lot of character trailers and things like that. And then they announced that the release date would be January. And I'm like... I understand why you're doing that. I understand why you're not releasing when you probably could in the same year as MK and Street Fighter. Like, yeah, I would also get out of the way. It makes sense because those two are fucking massive. Not that Tekken isn't, and I was always a Tekken player growing up, but
I think when I saw it, I connected more with the character showcase in Tekken than I did with Mortal Kombat.
All right, yeah. At this point, though, I prefer the MK characters. I just think the mythology is more interesting.
Mythology is, but I do think from a character design perspective, it's nowhere near as consistent. Like there's some of those characters that are like even Shao looks like from a different game, like his armor and stuff.
Right? Yeah, he's redesigned, right? Yeah. And he mentioned something about his father, and this time he has horns. Mm-hmm. His father's Onaga. His father is fucking Onaga, and Shao this time around, this timeline is like a dragon-human hybrid thing.
Okay.
That's my
Dragonborn?
wild. Yeah, he's Dragonborn, and
Yeah, 'cause
Onaga, the Dragon King, is his father, but he's not a king.
Yeah,
or
because he was like
he was beaten by Sindel in
half
battle.
human, half Shokan, I think, in the original, or something.
Yeah. What?
He
Isn't
was like-
Goro Shokin?
Oh yeah,
Yeah, getting really fucking confused now.
he was half something. He was weird, but yeah,
Yeah.
his designs have
That's stronger
changed.
than both.
Eric, any games that Adam didn't mention that you wanted to shout out from Gamescom?
Oh boy, left a positive impact. No, it kind of would be all those ones. I mean, again, you mentioned 38 games. Well, you said there was 38 games.
There was a lot.
For me, it's a very long showcase. It was at points as well. The interviews, honestly, for me, the points when they were asking the questions, that really made me start to kind of go, take out my phone, look at something else. You know what I mean? So I was a bit
Okay.
that wasn't keeping my attention. Nice to see movie and TV actors come into the world of like they got Gemma Chan to do the Vampire Hunter for Diablo 4.
All right, yeah.
Which they also straight up ripped a line from Blade and went, it has all their powers.
Daywalkers, yeah.
Yeah, Daywalkers. It has all their strengths and under weaknesses. Like, all right, just name a Blade while you're at it. Like, let's get Wesley Snipes.
It's badass though.
Yeah, I actually, there was one thing as I was watching the showcase, there was a point. It got to a point, I think it was kind of towards the end where it was like, and here's all the anime games, right?
Right, like the Hoyoverse stuff, Genshin Impact and stuff like that.
Genshin Impact and all that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It showed all of them, right?
Yeah.
I don't know how many there was, because it generally got to a point where I was like, is this still the same? Is this the same game? Oh,
Right.
Wait, is it? I don't know. They all looked the same to me. That I was
Sure.
like, this is a really long trailer. So
Okay.
yeah, that was kind of yeah.
Well, there was a couple of other games stood out to me during the showcase. Little Nightmares 3.
Mm-hmm.
I always like the aesthetics of Little Nightmare or Little Nightmares. I've never finished any of the games, but I just think the art style is really cool. And what caught my eye was Supermassive Games were working on it, and they did not work on the first two. So that's an interesting, like, they've been brought in to work on this third one, and it's nice to see them work on a game different to what they have been doing, because in the beginning with Until Dawn and then the VR game, what was that called again? Rush of Blood. I felt like Supermassive Games were like a studio to really keep an eye on. You know what I mean? I felt like they were like going to be real innovators and stuff,
Sony
right?
should have bought them.
And then I felt that they got a little bit. I mean, lots of people enjoy the games they do, and I've played some of the games that they make, but I think they've gotten a little bit comfortable with their formula, and it's getting a little bit, for me personally, a bit stale. So just to see their name attached to a very different style game, and it might give them a little bit of, oh fuck, this was fun, you know, like it might give them a little bit of a push to like get out of their comfort zone a little bit and start doing other things. So I just thought that could have exciting prospects in the future. A game called Granblue Fantasy Relink, where I was like, I mean, it looks like Final Fantasy, and I think it is Final Fantasy. At the end, the character shouted, "Go Bahamut," or something like that, and a big dragon flew up, and I went, hold on a second, I had like looked up on my phone going, is this Final Fantasy? And suppose the original game was made by the same guys who made Final Fantasy V, so it was like a shoot-off thing. But I thought like it looked cool. I thought aesthetically it looked cool, and that the gameplay looked cool. I'm gonna keep an eye on that. I think that could be like a really cool JRPG to play.
I might have left the room at that point.
Yeah, it looked cool.
Well,
I thought it looked really
think
cool.
this is the beginning of the bit when I'm like,
Yeah, there was a certain segment where I was like, this part's not for me, so I went off and did something and came back to it.
Yeah. Maybe I missed that one, but I thought it looked cool. I mean, it's not going to be for everyone, but the cutscenes and everything looked brilliant, and the gameplay looked good, and it looked like it has a really good story, like a heartfelt kind of story. And then I suppose I'm always interested in seeing a little bit more of Alan Wake 2, but I also thought it was a bit strange this time. Like, first of all, to just end that way that they ended, I didn't think was a good way to end it, because they didn't say, and for our final show, like, you wouldn't have to go, and one more thing, because that nearly hypes people up too much to be like, oh, it's a secret. But if it's like, and for our final presentation, we've got blah, blah, blah for Alan Wake 2, you know what I mean? But people then know it's the end. But it was after the fact they went, and that's all we've got. You know, I was like, oh, I didn't know that was the end, because you could have put that anywhere in the show.
Yeah.
Like, it just felt like just another segment.
What do you think they should have ended on?
MK1.
Yeah, I think so too, actually.
Like, not because maybe for me personally it was like the highlight of the show, but because the hype that MK brings, and just that finish him fatality at the end with the hair and stuff is very like it's there's a finality to it. So I think that would have been and people are hyped for that game, and it's coming really soon. So I think that would have been a really good way to end the show. And maybe even if it's a case of like, and you can go play this on the floor, you know, because I think you can probably at Gamescom. There's probably like a little demo version of MK1. You can go play the beta or something like that. Yeah, Alan Wake 2, I liked everything the guy was saying. I thought it was really interesting, but I didn't think the showing showed that well. I'm Ron Burgundy. As in, like, I like the idea that Alan Wake has been stuck in the dark place for the last 13 years, and it's been manifesting his ideas and haunting him and tormenting him as he's trapped in this dimension. And then there's going to be like a mashup of real life footage and video game footage, and you're like, that sounds interesting. Like. No, but it sounds interesting.
I know, but they already.
But then they show it, and you go,
You know, they
already
tried that with Quantum Break.
Right. Okay, I didn't see that one.
And yeah,
they did it for Control as well, and I think it's actually in the original Alan Wake.
How did it work in Control? Did it like?
So in Control, the kind of real life stuff works in playing a tape, and someone's so they have literally, you know, the bit in Lost when they're playing the DARPA tape and they're explaining how the work. They have moments like that where this guy is explaining, just like chief scientist is explaining the objects. Yeah,
you're right. Right. Yeah.
He's explaining the objects of power and stuff like that, and then sometimes you would have like hallucinations because the first manager of the building that you have to take over for is dead, but his consciousness goes into the gun and then sometimes speaks to you. Like his memories you can hear and see. So that stuff sometimes flashes on the screen, and that's done in live action.
Okay. You see, I suppose when he was saying it, like okay, the easy way of doing it is, there's a TV with a real person on it. And that's kind of what they showed in it as well. That's not what I envisioned, though, as he was talking. And what I envisioned, I was like, how are you going to fucking do that? But that sounds fucking crazy. I envisioned like you're walking in the game and the world around you turns into the real world, but your character is still a video game, and the glitches like that. And well, I know from what I saw. It's just when he was talking, that's what I envisioned, and I went, that sounds nuts. So that's why I got excited by the idea. And then when they showed it, I was like, okay,
yeah, no, they've been doing this basically with every game they've touched on. And I don't
fair
know
enough.
Why they do it? Like that was one of I have a feeling like Quantum is it Quantum Break or Quantic Break? I think it's Quantum Break. That had the potential of being a really, really good game, and I feel like too much resources are spent in the shooting of the real footage stuff. Or actually maybe that was cheaper than it was to hire the actors to do mocap or something like that. I don't know. There was something about it that just felt like a corner's cut decision. And so I always get a little bit nervous when I see things like that. It's not that couldn't be interesting and do something cool with it, but
yeah, I think with this one though, because it's not as clean cut dry as Quantum Break is, not saying that game is clean cut dry because it's all about time travel and shit, isn't it? Or like bending reality to your will or shit like that. But this one is about a guy losing his mind, so I'd imagine it's his hallucinations are done in the live action so that you understand as the player it's not real. And then all the real stuff is the game.
Quantum Break is actually in the same universe though, isn't it?
Is it?
I think so.
I don't know. Like, I just had visions of them fucking with you though in like a Spider-Verse way. That's what I was envisioning. I was envisioning like real life footage and video game footage glitching on top of each other, And then I thought, that's cool. So then when I saw the footage and it wasn't that, I was like, not as cool. But I'm still interested in Alan Wake 2. I think it looks like a cool game. So I'm still keeping an eye out for it. But anything else from Gamescom before we finish up?
There's a game I actually saw because on the PlayStation Store, so it wasn't opening night live. Wasn't at this. But on the game store, right, PlayStation Store, there was a list of all they have Gamescom and a list of games. One of them being Snake Eater, some other ones there. There's one though that I kind of just checked out the trailers and images called Ad Infinitum. Infinitum?
Okay.
Ad Infinitum. It's a first-person psychological horror game where you play as a German soldier waking up in a not derelict, but it's a clean but empty mansion with some horrible secrets and blah, blah, blah. You're trying to uncover them. But as you're progressing through it, you also start to fall into another realm, which is World War I trenches, but there's loads of weird Silent Hill monsters.
Wow.
And it just looked really cool and messed up.
Yeah, that sounds fucked up. I'm going to have a look at that, actually. That sounds cool.
The emblem is also really cool because the emblem reminds me of Alien. But as I would have
I think I've seen this. I'm gonna look at it again though. I think I've seen the trenches stuff. I think I remember seeing that going, oh, that sounds fucking cool. Something to shout out as well that was revealed in the same week as Gamescom. The PlayStation Project Q, which is like their version of the remote play thing, is now called the PlayStation Portal, and price point has been revealed, and soon enough there'll be a release date for that. So if anyone's interested in that, keep an eye out. It's probably coming before Christmas this year. Only seen Greg Miller's review of it, and he loved it, but he remote plays at home a lot with the Backbone, so he said playing it with this
that's
was
the
just
part I seen
better.
I seen the clip and I was like,
it's very specific to very specific needs, like.
Yeah, but it's already like because he was saying, oh yeah, I can see this being a part of my life, right? Like already because of the situation that you just described. It's like, because I already do that on my Backbone. It's like, well, you already have the solution then. Yeah,
but it's like if you could do that better, you know what I mean? Like
that's the part that I'm waiting on. Is like, how can it possibly be better?
Right. I mean, all you can do is go on like what someone who's played both is saying, which is that he felt it was better.
That's
he
the
missed
part
it
that
when
has
he went
me
home.
Questioning is that it's coming from him.
I get you.
Yeah,
you need to hear from other people, of course.
Yeah.
Of course you do. If lots of people come out and say, "Oh no, this is actually unreal," then it's maybe worth like turning heads for it. But yeah. Of course.
I'm still waiting to see. I'm interested on the discussion around that because it's another PlayStation product. But I don't see. I think this is dead on arrival as a product.
Maybe.
I don't see its purpose. I don't see why people will get it, and considering how little marketing has been done on it, it looks like Sony doesn't have much faith in it themselves, which is such a pity. I mean, it's like the whole VR thing all over again. Yeah, it is. It's very like the VR thing all over again. I think it will sell more than the VR 2. Oh God, no. But only I think it will, but only because of the price point, and that's like cool gimmick, but not. I don't think it'll maybe get as much use as those who have bought the VR 2. I'm saying I think it will sell more as a Christmas present to PlayStation fans, and then this it'll time be returned because it's not what they thought it was. Or people just don't want to use it because they're using their Switch instead or whatever for that kind of thing, or their Steam Deck or their Backbone or whatever. Or not as many people remote play as people think, maybe. Yeah, I mean, have you tried remote play? Like I've given a few goes with the Backbone, because every now and then I will try it just to see, is it viable now? No, it's never viable. It's a horrendous experience. Yeah, I mean, if this thing you could just download the game onto it and play it, I would 100% buy it. Yes, if that was possible. Because I actually love the design of this thing. I think it's a good size. Looks good. If you could take this thing away with you, and you could just download the games you want to play onto it, and I wouldn't 100% would buy that. Like, because obviously, look, this thing isn't going to run PS5 games, but it might. No, it does, right? No, it doesn't. the PS5 plays the PS5 games and sends the signal.
Sorry.
Right.
Yes, I understand.
But,
Yeah.
Like, the tech is getting so good now that they could easily make a PS portable, whatever you want to call it. With the power of the PS4. Easily.
Yes.
I would, like, whatever. Like, I would love a machine that'd be like, it can play PS4 games.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to, could stream PS5 games to it.
Yeah. 100%.
Like, and you could
the shit out of
charge fucking 2-3 times the price of it, and I think that's fine because the weird thing about this product is, right, it's 200 quid. No, it's not. It's 700 quid.
Oh yeah, because you need the PS5 for it, obviously.
Whereas if it was a
it's an accessory
standalone machine, like with the capability of PS4, and it was 400 quid,
or 450,
that's all you need. You wouldn't actually need the other thing. So it's actually a very cheap offering and a good competitor to.
It would
the
be good
Series
as well
X.
for them as a thing. It's like, all you have to do with this thing, you buy this thing, and you pay your PS Plus subscription that we really want you to be on board with.
And now you got
download
PS2
those games.
You got PS3
immediately
games.
onto it, and you just play away. I'm telling you, there's a business plan. Right? Anything else you guys want to shout out just before we finish up?
No.
No? Then perfect. That brings us right to a close. What do you guys think? Are you guys interested in the PlayStation Portal when it comes out? What was your big highlights from Gamescom 2023? There's obviously lots of games we didn't talk about, so maybe if there's games that you want to shout out, you're like, you fuckers, you didn't even mention this game, and this was the hypiest of the hypest. Feel free to get in touch. If you're watching YouTube, jump down in the comments to share your thoughts. If you enjoyed this discussion, give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, ring that notification bell for all our future conversations, including when we eventually get around to talking about some of these games when they come out and stuff. And if you guys listen on audio platforms, you can touch base on social media, Facebook, Instagram, and Twixter at The Brothers Take, again, to give your take on Gamescom 2023, apparently the biggest gaming event of the fucking year. It was awesome. Thank you very much for checking out this week's episode, guys. We'll be back to talk to you guys next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.